The Silver Bullet Lie: Why Black Women Don't Need to Go Viral to Build Empires. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred pause Black women have been waiting for. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dole-say, like sweet softness whispered in French. I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I want to disrupt everything you think you know about success. I want to challenge the lie that's been sold to us, repackaged, and resold until we believed it was gospel. The lie that says there's one thing, one moment, one viral post, one influencer shout out, one ad campaign that will finally make everything click. I recently had the profound honor of sitting down with Haylo Cole, and let me tell you, the conversation we had didn't just inspire me, it rearranged my entire understanding of what entrepreneurial success looks like for Black women. Halo Cole is someone who has dedicated their work to empowering Black women entrepreneurs, helping us see that our path doesn't have to mirror anyone else's hustle culture playbook. They're making the world better by reminding us that we can build empires without burning ourselves out, that we can create legacy without losing ourselves, that we can rewrite the rules entirely. And what Halo shared with me is something I believe every single one of us needs to hear, especially if you've been chasing that one big break, that silver bullet you think will save you. Here's the truth Halo helped me see. And I need you to really sit with this. True entrepreneurial success for Black women isn't about chasing viral moments or explosive growth hacks. It's about building a world of belonging through relentless, small, intentional moves that turn customers into collaborators. It challenges the myth, the dangerous myth, that one silver bullet, whether it's influencers or ads or some magic marketing trick, can sustain a brand. The myth we've been sold is seductive. It whispers that there's a shortcut, that if you just find the right person, the right platform, the right moment, everything will change overnight. But the reality, sustainable success is built in the small, the intentional, the relational. It's built in the unsexy, unglamorous, unscalable work that nobody wants to talk about because it doesn't make for a good highlight reel. Now, I know some of you are thinking, LeAnne, I don't have time for slow. I need results now. I hear you, sis. I really do. But what if I told you that the very thing you're rushing past is the thing that will compound into the legacy you're dreaming of? What if the answer isn't out there in some algorithm or some influencer's inbox? What if it's already in the room with you? Let me share a story that Halo brought to my attention, a story that beautifully, powerfully illustrates this principle. It's about a Black woman named Pia Mance. Pia launched a brand called Heaven Mayhem, starting with handmade necklaces in an era when everyone around her was obsessed with growth hacks, viral marketing, and scaling fast. The startup world was screaming at her to move faster, spend more, shout louder. But Pia, she had a different vision entirely. She wasn't just building a product, she was building a world. Now, Pia faced what so many of us face: no viral breakthrough, no silver bullet, no fairy godmother investor swooping in to save the day. Early traction required manual, unscalable efforts. She was competing against big brands with big budgets, brands that could afford to flood Instagram with ads and pay celebrities for endorsements. But instead of trying to outspend or outshout them, Pia did something radical. She chose to build a world of belonging. She created events that felt like homecomings. She crafted content that spoke directly to the soul. She developed language that made her customers feel like they were part of something bigger than a transaction. She called them angels. She hosted conversations in heaven. She didn't just sell accessories. She sold identity. She sold community. She sold a feeling of home, of being seen, of mattering. And here's the part that really got me. The part that made me stop and rethink everything. Pia treated her customers as collaborators. She brought them into her office to trial products before they launched. She held monthly Zoom calls to get their feedback, their honest thoughts, their dreams for what the brand could become. She let them inform what she would drop next. She turned her early customers, especially fellow Black professionals and entrepreneurs, into co creators. She made them feel like they owned a piece of the vision. The result? Heaven Mayhem grew into a $10 million brand. Celebrities like Hailey Bieber and Sydney Sweeney started wearing her pieces, not because she paid them, but because the brand had become undeniable. She secured press in Vogue and Forbes. She landed retail partnerships with Revolve and Selfridges. Her product line expanded from necklaces to best selling earrings and laptop cases. And none of it, not 1 ounce of it, came from one big moment. It came from compounding small, intentional relational moves. It came from choosing depth over hype. It came from building identity, not just inventory. Pia's story is a masterclass in what Haylo Cole calls building identity, not just products. This is the first key insight I want to leave with you today. And I need you to write this down. Tattoo it on your heart, whatever it takes. Create a brand experience people want to belong to. Foster loyalty that compounds over time. That's sustainable growth. That's the kind of success that doesn't burn you out at 3 in the morning, wondering if the algorithm will favor you tomorrow. That's the kind of legacy that lasts, that your children's children will talk about. But here's where it gets even more powerful, even more disruptive. Pia didn't just build a brand, she leveraged her community as her research and development engine. This is the second insight, and it's one that will set you free if you let it. Treat your early customers, especially fellow Black professionals and entrepreneurs, as collaborators through direct feedback loops. Turn them into co creators who inform your next moves. Think about that for a second. How many of us are out here trying to guess what people want? How many of us are spending money we don't have on ads, hoping something sticks? How many of us are lying awake at night wondering if we're building the right thing? But what if the answers you're looking for are already in the room? What if the people who already love what you do, who already see your vision, are the ones who can tell you exactly what to do next? Pia didn't have a huge budget for market research. She didn't hire some fancy consulting firm. She had her community. And she listened. She invited them in. She made them feel seen, heard, valued. And in return, they didn't just buy from her, they became her biggest advocates. They became her collaborators. They became her family. They told their friends, their coworkers, their sisters. They wore her pieces with pride because they felt like they had helped build something meaningful. Now, I want to pause here because I know some of you are thinking, LeAnne, that sounds beautiful, but how do I actually do that? How do I build that kind of community when I'm starting from scratch? How do I create that magic when I don't have a following yet? This brings me to the third insight Haylo shared, and it's one that I think is going to liberate some of you today. Embrace scrappy additive growth. Combine organic gifting, personal outreach, and partnerships without relying on any single channel. Prove that emotional regulation and persistence outperform flashy tactics every single time. Let me break that down because this is where the rubber meets the road. Pia didn't wait for some big influencer to discover her. She didn't sit around hoping for a miracle. She manually DM'd people who liked her posts and turned those conversations into sales. She gifted products organically to people she believed in, people whose values aligned with hers. She built partnerships one relationship at a time, one coffee meeting at a time, one thoughtful email at a time. She didn't rely on one channel. She added channels, layer by layer, relationship by relationship, without putting all her eggs in one basket. And here's the part that I think speaks directly to us as Black women who are learning to be soft in a world that taught us survival, that taught us to grit our teeth and push through no matter the cost. Pia's success wasn't about grinding harder. It was about emotional regulation and persistence. It was about showing up consistently, not frantically. It was about building with intention, not desperation. It was about protecting her peace while she built her legacy. This is what Soft Girl Era is all about, sis. It's about releasing the cape. It's about redefining strength. It's about protecting your peace while you build your legacy. It's about understanding that you don't have to choose between success and softness. You can have both. You deserve both. And I want to bring in another story that Haylo shared with me, one that speaks to the power of persistence and reclaiming your narrative. It's the story of Malala Yousafzai. Now, I know Malala is known globally, but what struck me about her story, what Haylo helped me see, is how much it mirrors the journey so many Black women and women of color face. Malala survived a Taliban shooting at 15. She was thrust into icon status overnight. The world wanted her to be a symbol, a hero, a perfect representation of resilience. But what people don't talk about enough is what came after. The anxiety that kept her up at night, the identity loss as she tried to figure out who she was beyond the headlines, the academic failures that made her question her worth, the ghosting of relationships as she struggled to balance authenticity against external expectations. Malala had to reclaim her narrative. She had to embrace vulnerability through memoir writing, friendships, and deep self reflection. She had to find peace, love, and unapologetic selfhood. She had to model human resilience over perfection. She had to show the world that being an icon doesn't mean being invincible. It means being honest. It means being whole. It means refusing to shrink yourself to fit someone else's idea of who you should be. And that's what so many of us are doing right now. We're reclaiming our narratives. We're refusing to let the world define our strength. We're choosing softness, not because we're weak, but because we're finally strong enough to be vulnerable. We're finally brave enough to say, I don't have to carry this anymore. Haylo also shared a story about a young woman named Norma. Norma grew up in affluent Maine, but she was emotionally isolated in ways that wealth could never fix. She had an emotionally distant father who provided everything except presence. She had an overprotective mother who loved her but suffocated her truth. She had haunting visions that challenged her reality, dreams that whispered secrets her family refused to acknowledge. But Norma persisted. She refused to abandon her truth despite suppression. Over decades, not months, not years, but decades, she uncovered hidden family secrets. She gained empowerment and clarity for her path. She trusted her intuition even when everyone around her told her she was wrong. She modeled intuitive leadership in a world that didn't make room for her voice. Norma's story reminds me of so many Black professionals who've had to overcome hidden barriers, who've had to trust their inner drive even when the world told them to sit down and be quiet, who've had to model intuitive leadership in space that didn't make room for them, who've had to build their own tables because they weren't invited to anyone else's. These stories, Pia's, Malala's, Norma's, they all point to the same truth. Success isn't about the big moment. It's about the small, intentional, persistent moves. It's about building identity. It's about leveraging community. It's about embracing scrappy, additive growth. It's about showing up even when nobody's watching. It's about trusting the process even when the results aren't immediate. And here's what I want you to take away from this. You don't need a silver bullet. You need a community. You don't need to go viral. You need to go deep. You don't need to hustle harder. You need to build smarter, softer, more intentionally. You need to stop chasing what everyone else is chasing and start building what only you can build. Because here's the thing, sis, the world is waiting for what you're building, but it's not waiting for you to have it all figured out. It's not waiting for you to be perfect. It's not waiting for you to look like everyone else's highlight reel. It's waiting for you to be you fully, unapologetically, softly. Halo Cole reminded me that our power as Black women entrepreneurs isn't in mimicking someone else's playbook. It's in creating our own. It's in building worlds where we belong. It's in turning customers into collaborators. It's in choosing persistence over perfection. It's in understanding that the slow build, the intentional build, the relational build is the one that lasts. So here's my challenge to you today. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for someone else to validate your vision. What if your next business move wasn't about scaling fast, but inviting your community to co create the world you all belong to? Who is that first collaborator you need to reach out to today? Who is that person who's been liking your posts, commenting on your content, cheering you on from the sidelines? DM them, call them, invite them into your vision, ask them what they need, ask them what they dream about, ask them how you can build this together. Because legacy isn't built alone, it's built in community, it's built in collaboration, it's built one small, intentional, beautiful move at a time. You deserve to build a legacy that doesn't cost you your peace. You deserve to create a brand that feels like home. You deserve to be soft and successful at the same time. You deserve to rewrite the rules. You deserve to reject the silver bullet lie and embrace the truth that sustainable success is built in belonging. So go. DM that collaborator, build that world, compound that legacy, and do it softly, intentionally, unapologetically. The revolution isn't loud, it's soft. And it starts with you.